We all know the feeling. You bite into a lemon and your face immediately scrunches up from that sharp, intense sourness. Or think about washing your hands. The moment that bar of soap gets wet, it turns completely slick and slippery. Long before anyone had microscopes or complex lab equipment, these simple human reactions, a puckered mouth or slippery fingers, were exactly how we categorized the chemicals in our world. This notebook page shows early scientific studies by a 17th century scientist named Robert Boyle. He was one of the first to formally write down that acids taste sour, while bases feel slippery. But there's an obvious problem here. Relying on your tongue to identify an unknown chemical is an incredibly dangerous way to do science. Chemists needed a universal rule. They needed a way to define these materials safely without ever having to touch or taste them. As you can see in the lower half of these notes, early ideas were a bit off track. Antoine Lavoisier wrongly assumed oxygen was the secret ingredient, but later Humphrey Davy proved him wrong, showing that hydrogen was the real culprit. Davy realized that a substance reveals its true nature through an invisible, microscopic interaction that occurs the moment it touches water. That brings us to our modern rules, starting with a scientist named Arrhenius. Looking at his definition here, an acid is simply a substance that produces tiny hydrogen particles, called H+ ions, when dropped into water. Think of it like microscopic baseball. An acid in water acts like a pitcher, throwing away that little hydrogen particle. Every pitcher needs a catcher. Bronsted-Lowry theory says a base is a molecule designed to catch and hold that flying proton. Chemical behavior boils down to this: whether a molecule throws that particle away or catches it. We group acids into two main families, and as this flowchart shows, the split is based entirely on where they come from. On the left side of this list, we have natural or organic acids. These are the ones you interact with every day, like the citric acid in a tomato or the lactic acid in yogurt. On the right side are mineral acids. These are inorganic compounds manufactured in laboratories, like sulfuric acid, which is so potent it's often called the king of chemicals. But whether it's sitting inside a piece of fruit or sloshing around in an industrial vat, the chemical mechanism is identical. They are both throwing protons. So why can we safely eat the organic acids in our food, while lab-made mineral acids will burn right through our skin? This chart explains the difference by dividing them by strength. You can think of strength like a volume knob that controls exactly how many of those hydrogen particles get released into the water. Weak natural acids keep the volume low, releasing only a few particles at a time. But strong mineral acids turn the dial all the way up, flooding the water with ions and rapidly ripping through heavy materials like industrial metal. The physical danger of an acid depends entirely on how aggressively it throws its ammunition. Chemists measure this capacity using a term called basicity, but you can just think of it as an acid's proton payload, the exact number of hydrogen particles a single molecule is capable of throwing. Taking a look at the first equation here, monobasic acids like hydrochloric acid only carry a payload of 1. When they hit the water, they produce a single ion. Then there are dibasic acids, which have a payload of 2. If you look closely at the diagram for phosphorus acid, the sticky note explains why. Based on its specific structure, only 2 of its hydrogen atoms can actually detach. Finally, we have tribasic acids, like the phosphoric acid shown on this page, which come fully loaded with a payload of 3. Once you know what to look for, reading a chemical formula tells you instantly how much ammunition that specific molecule brings to the game. We started out categorizing the world by puckering at sour lemons and slipping on wet soap. Today, we can measure exactly how many invisible particles a molecule can throw. But whether you are experiencing the sharp tang of a citrus fruit or handling a highly reactive mineral in a laboratory, the underlying rule hasn't changed. Understanding the world of chemistry simply means recognizing that invisible game of catch happening inside every single object around us.